Hello, welcome to the Senior Tuber Incentive. I'm Fran Asaro, and I am your host for today. And today we're going to talk about how to leave your legacy on YouTube. Now, I know we talk about leaving your gifts on YouTube all the time, and I'm helping you with your optimization and your monetization. This is not that. This is the legacy that you want to keep private, the stuff you only want to share with your family, but to create a vault for everything valuable to you. So stick around if you have a bunch of stuff in your head that you want to share and you don't know how to share it. We're going to talk about that today. This and another podcast that I just recorded are twins for keeping your private stuff on YouTube as well. This being the legacy, and the other one, how to have a virtual family reunion on YouTube. So if you haven't seen that one, take a look at it. It's really interesting. I started it a couple of months ago, my own, and now I have some things to share with you on both of these. All right. If you're listening to this recording on the audio version and you want to see the video version, go to yt.seniortuber.com and it'll take you to this channel. And you'll just look at our podcast, and this one will be about how to leave your legacy on YouTube. Okay? So what we're going to talk about today is something a lot of people don't know what to do with, and we're going to have some solutions for things you don't know what to do. But just to go over a few things that I went in the other podcast, in case you don't see it, is that when I first started the Senior Tuber, one of the main reasons I started it is to help people, mature people, do something with all the information they have inside them, whether they wanted to leave their gifts and their talents on YouTube and monetize it, or do they have stuff inside that they need to share with their family or with somebody that they have nobody to share it with right now. And this is how we're going to do it. So this was part of the original plan, is to help people put their legacy on YouTube, but it doesn't have to be for everyone. I don't think you want to anyway. We're going to talk about a couple of things you need to do first before you do leave your legacy on YouTube. One is you want to get your YouTube channel up and running. Now, you may already have a YouTube channel and you use it for some things or a conglomeration of things. I'd like to recommend that you have one designated for your legacy. And you could call it something like Jane's Legacy Channel, or the Smith Family Time Capsule, or something that makes it feel special and make the channel feel sacred. And then you'll have a place to put things there, and you'll want it to be the kind of thing you'll add to regularly or edit regularly, right? You can have up to 100 YouTube channels for every Google account. So I don't think this is going to take up any time or space for what you already have. You're also going to want to have a Zoom account. And you can actually have a free Zoom account for what we're going to need this for. Because a free Zoom account allows you to have up to 100 participants on a call and allows for a 40-minute conversation. Now, this probably isn't going to be a place where you're going to have anybody on your video with you, but you'll probably want to make a video for somebody to see, and you can definitely do something 40 minutes or less. I actually prefer that the videos you make are short, so that if you can label them correctly and you're not going to lose interest and people aren't going to miss things because it was just, something was in there that wasn't about them. So if you make very specific videos, 5 minutes long, 10 tops, then that might be the best way to do it. Even a minute long would be good if it's labeled correctly. Here's my favorite movies or something like that, right? So when you get your Zoom account, you can go on there and record some of these things that you want. Now, Zoom is not your only place to use it. So you can do this on your phone. You could do it on any webcam. You could do it on YouTube, but make it a private session if you want to do it on YouTube and record it from there. What you want to do is label the channel, as I said, but then you're going to want to do list it as an unlisted video, because you're going to want only the people you want to see it. A private listing is when only you can see it and somebody who has access to your YouTube channel can see it. Or unlisted is where anybody you share the link with can see your videos. Here's the thing. If you make a video of family history or family secrets and you don't want everybody to have it, make sure that you don't share that link with everybody. Only share with the people you want. So you can make videos all different kinds that are going to go to all different people, and they will never see the ones you don't want to see as long as you don't share that link. Okay? So what I recommend is that you might want to create playlists. Playlists might be, it's supposed to house all related videos. So if you have one that is, if you want one to go just to your family, if you want to go one that is just for friends, or just ones that are just about leaving your memories, your playlist can house that. In one case, you might say, okay, here are all of my childhood mementos. And you might have the playlist as Jane's mementos, Jane's younger years, something like that. And then each video that's housed in that playlist would be labeled Jane from 0 to 1 year, from 1 to 2 years, Jane's dating years, with Jane in high school, whatever you want to do. And they'll all fall under that video, under that playlist. And you could share that playlist link with the same people who would see all of those videos. Or you can share just one of those video links if that pertains to somebody else and you don't want them to see the others. I hope I didn't confuse you. If I have confused you, please let me know in the comment section so I can help. All right? All right. You're going to create these videos. What are they? Well, how do you leave your legacy on YouTube, right? And why? Well, I bet you have boxes of things in your closet, from clothing to images. You have, photos. I'm calling them images, right? But you could have all your digital images on your computer. You could have songs that you've written, favorite songs, anything, movies that you've taken from vacations way back 50 years ago, right? All that stuff is housed somewhere, either in your storage, in your house, in your computer. And if anything happens to you, who gets them, right? In this case, you can make sure who's going to get the link to all this, and they will be able to share you for years and years to come. Because right now, the people who know you are going to love seeing it. But you know who'll love it more? The people who are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 generations away, and they want to know who their great-grandmother or great-grandfather was. Or they want to know something about you, and they will have that history. It could be about health. If you have health situation and you want to talk about what you do know, if you want to talk about your ancestors, that would be great too. What do you know that several generations from now will not know? That would be a great thing. So I'm speaking a little bit ahead of the game, because one of the ways that you will leave a legacy is by leaving your personal time capsule, right? Things that you want, a compilation of your life. And like I said, you can leave your pictures of your favorite things or videos or photos, and you could talk about your ancestors, and you could talk about your life, things that if you want to think about, what would my great-great-grandchildren want to know about me? You could tell secrets because, you might not be around by the time they see it, or you could tell them when you are around. That's up to you. Okay, so you want to record in segments, and you want to share them in short segments so they're not overwhelming. You'll be the judge of what becomes, a little bit boring because it's too long. Like I said, 5 minutes would be great, but you want to compartmentalize them and label them well so that people can take it in bite-sized pieces. Okay, today I'm going to watch 3 or 4 of Grandma's videos, something like that. And the playlists are going to be really important. So I'll give you an idea of some playlists. Besides that compilation of your younger years, married years, you can have your military years. Is there something that you want to share and compartmentalize? Just your military years. Remember, if somebody's looking through your life, the more you compartmentalize it, the more they'll know if they want to see it. And if you put it all blended in together, they may get people might not want to see your military years or your younger years, but they want to see you when you became a mom and what it was like when you were raising children. So you might want to have your pregnancy years, your when the kids were, in toddler years, or your romances. If you want to share your romances with your family that doesn't know who you dated and what life was like when you were being romanced by other people. Also, if you were a boater, you want to put down your boating years. If you have a career that you loved, and you might want to share that portion of you. Books, favorite books that you've read, favorite memories that you have that you just want to share. Anytime you can take a piece of you and segment it, it's going to be more valuable because they came for that. They came for that one thing. It interested them. Okay. Now, that's not the only thing we can do with leaving your legacy. Your personal stuff is really good, right? But one of the things I think about when I think about leaving your legacy is sometimes people don't know what to do after you're gone or even while you're here. For instance, my sister was in the hospital for a couple of weeks, a couple of years ago, and I didn't know how to get to her clients. I didn't know how to get to her bank account. And, I'm pretty resourceful, so I was able to. I don't even live near her, so I couldn't go through her house or her files. But I was resourceful, and I found out who to call, pay her bills, check in with her clients, check her texts and things like that. But if you created a video just with your current clients that if you were not able to take care of things today, but you're not gone, you just couldn't take care of things today, that somebody has a link to all that they need to do. What bills need to be done? What are your account numbers? What are your passwords? And who are your clients? And what are their phone numbers? Things like that, or where they can find the information that you keep on your clients. Just something you want to keep in mind. But there's so much more you want to share with somebody you trust. Now, these unlisted links that you're going to share, you'll decide who gets them and when. So if you share, let's say, with your significant other, this is the link I want you to share once I pass, but not before then. You could do that. Or you can share it so that people have access to it now. It's all up to you. But if you're going to give it to one person, I recommend you give it to two. Should anything happen to that person or that they are not around and there's nobody else to share these, you want to make sure there's a backup. Okay? So some of those other things, like I said, you'll want to share your important numbers and passwords, not just on your stuff, but do you have a safe? Do you have a box that you have a key to? Do you have numbers that you need people to know of, important numbers? Do you have important investments? I personally have a piece of land that nobody knows about, and it's not a secret. Nobody ever asked me. I need them to know where it is if anything happens to me and what to do with it, right? So do you have anything that people don't know about? My mother passed when she was 52 years old. I was 19 years old. And I had no clue she had a racehorse for like a year or two after she was gone. We don't know what happened to it, who had it. And she probably didn't think she was going at 52, right? So it would have been nice if we had access to the racehorse. We just never did anything with it, right? So investments are good, important valuables and accounts. So if you have jewelry or something that's somewhere, somebody's holding all your jewelry, or you have your jewelry hidden in the house somewhere, or you have accounts that people don't know about, that's another video that you could make. And here's a really important one. Who gets what, right? Now, again, my mother passed when I was 19. We didn't really know who got what. We did okay on dividing things up, but it wasn't the greatest. It could have been better. And she died in 1977. Now, my father died 20 years later. We learned from what we didn't know when my mother died, and my father prepared me for his death for the next 20 years, right? I was kind of resistant, like, oh, I don't want to talk about your death, right? But the fact is, when he passed, I was so prepared and so grateful. And I would love for your family to be grateful and be grieving you, but not be cursing you because they don't know what to do with your stuff or where to find your stuff or how you would have liked things handled. So that's something you want to do. You want to say, this is how I want you to handle my funeral. This is my land that I've already reserved where I want to be buried. This is a mausoleum I've gotten. This is where you go. and you prepare your family for how you want things to be handled. You know, a lot of people rustle around for their family member who passed to find good photos and beautiful things. Do you know you could create that right now? You can create a list of all, or a video of all the photos, so that people would just take that and copy it and use it. And you got it to have it your way. You could tell them what you want to be buried in, where you want to be buried, how you want to be buried. I don't want to be buried. I want people to know, just go ahead and use whatever body parts you can use on me at the time I pass, and go ahead and cremate me, and the rest go to science. I don't care, right? It's not a big thing for me. And then my father, on the other hand, wanted a mausoleum, and we wanted to make sure that we honored him. So my father also took me about a few days before he passed. He took me through his phone book and told me who he wanted me to call. And so while everybody else was grieving, I was grieving with his phone book. I was calling everybody and laughing and crying. It was so cathartic to be able to do what he wanted to do, to honor him and share it with everybody he wanted to. And he didn't want me to call everybody in his phone book. He didn't, for whatever reason. Maybe they were just, just a service person or somebody he didn't talk to anymore. Whatever it was, I knew now who to call and who not to call. And that's something you could put in there. And who gets what? Man, is that important. When my mother passed, we didn't divide up the way we could have, like I said. And if you walked around your house with a video camera and went through every single thing and said, this you can take, and this one so-and-so could take, this I don't care who takes, this goes to charity, this one goes to this person outside the family because I promised it to them. When they hear it in your voice, they're going to believe it, instead of it being in writing and somebody say, Mom said I could have this, right? Put it in your voice. And then when you do create the video, make that list inside the description of that video so that it's documented as well. Okay? So you're going to go around your house and you're going to take a picture of the entire house, and then you're going to remember what's not in the house. What's in your storage unit? What's at somebody else's house? What's in the attic? What isn't something tangible that you want to give people? Land, any kind of investments. Who's going to get your stocks and your bonds? And that's another thing. You want to make sure that there's a list of all your account numbers and all your representatives, right? Who's your accountant? Who's your attorney? Who's your investment counselor? Anybody that they need to know. This is going to be so good. Now, don't be overwhelmed by this. This is a gift you're leaving your family. And chances are you don't need it today. I hope you don't. But if you do, then you might want to go a little faster. But I'm going to invite you to take this as slowly, right? Do some of the fun stuff first. Maybe do your compilation of your life, right? Putting some videos together. And then maybe one a week make a list of some of these individual videos and individual playlists you want to create. And then just start creating them slowly, 1 hour a week, just to create something and start building your legacy. People read a book a week. You can build your legacy one step at a time per week. Okay. Don't overwhelm. I really want to emphasize that. This isn't supposed to be, oh my gosh, it was a good idea until she started talking, because I do get really big in my thinking and how much we could do, but I want you to do it at your pace. All right. And don't hesitate to bring in a second or third party to come in and help with the videoing, with going through the photos, putting them in a slideshow, whatever way you want to do it. It doesn't have to be perfect. I tell you, hearing my mother's voice in a video would be so valuable right now, because we didn't have the video cameras in 1977, right? And so hearing her in a video would be amazing. And that's who's going to benefit from your videos. People generations from now, people who don't know you. And that's going to be wonderful. Remember now, you're going to share the links, the unlisted links to these videos with either one person or many people. You could share some of them with all your people and all of them with some of your people. Do I sound like Abraham Lincoln? Probably. But that's something you want to think about. If you want to create a legend, aside from the videos, or if you want to notate each video, this can be shared with, so that if anything happens to you and somebody has access to all of your legacy videos, they won't know who gets what unless you can itemize it inside the description, inside the title, or putting tags in there and say, this only goes to these 3 people, or this goes to anybody, I don't care. So you want to make sure that you guide the person who's going to have the key to your legacy. You want them to know so that they don't say, I don't know if she's going to want to share this information with everybody, right? So, but it is the opportunity for you to share stuff that you probably never shared with a lot of people, and you probably wish you could. Okay? You might also want to create a video on how you want to leave the world. Now, they can use this at your services if you want to, or it could just be for your family, but you get to decide. What kind of video would you leave with the world if you could do that before you left? So do you want to share your highlights of your life? Do you want to share your loves of your life? Do you want to share your favorite moments with the kids that you want to remember? That's a place for you to share. If it were going to be seen by a lot of people, you might want to acknowledge a lot of people, but you also want to mention in there, if I forgot anybody, I'm sorry, so that if somebody didn't get acknowledged, that you just might have forgot them, but not that they didn't exist as a special person in your life. You also want to consider updating some of these videos. You might have a series of 5 or 6 playlists or videos that need to be updated regularly. Okay, so what that looks like is I need to change my who gets what video. At least I need to look at it every year. I need to set myself a reminder so I check that, right? And also, there are terms and conditions that might change for you. This is not a legal document. Your attorney is going to be creating your will. But when you're saying, I will leave all this to my daughter, and then she gets married and has kids, and you didn't change the video, then you want to make sure, unless she gets married and has children, then I want her children to get this, right? So you might want to put some futuristic information in there just in case you don't get to update it correctly. I'm wondering how this is feeling for you. Please comment in the comment section. Let me know if this is helping you. Let me know what works for you. And if you have ideas that I haven't even mentioned yet, I'm interested in knowing what you're coming up with, right? Because when you put it in the comment section, you're not just helping me, you're helping other people create a legacy channel as well. And that's what this is all about. I want to go back to the acknowledgement video. You can actually make acknowledgement videos one at a time. Now, you could send it to them now, you can give them a link to it now, or you can leave it for somebody to send at an appropriate time. You could do that right now with people's birthdays and anniversaries. If you want to, you can save them all in your legacy channel and send them out when it's time, singing happy birthday. If somebody loves a song, like my father sang a song, and I had a great uncle who sang a song to me that I can't remember all the words. If somebody sings a song that warms your heart, maybe you want to put that down in a video, capture them, because this isn't just about you leaving your legacy, but maybe you could grab onto legacies that you're holding close to your heart. I wish I could hear my father sing The Shadow of Your Smile one more time, or play Old Man River on the piano with just one thumb and sing, right? So it doesn't always have to be just about you. You can go capture some moments and you can leave them for you on your legacy channel. And as I said, you want to choose somebody who is going to be in charge of your links, but always have a backup, because if something happens, you want to make sure there's a backup to make sure you didn't create all this for nothing. Okay? I want to make sure that you see how to create your virtual family reunion on YouTube. It's if you haven't seen it already, please take a look over there. Go to yt.seniortuber.com and go over to my podcast and look for the virtual family reunion podcast. Okay. About my shirt, I just want you to know I have a merch store now. And so for anybody who's proud to be a senior tuber, a YouTube creator, a content creator, I have a bunch of products over there, from hats to totes to coffee cups and shirts. And if you're interested, please help support this channel by purchasing something that might give you some fun sharing about who you are when you're out and about. In the meantime, you have an incredible week, and I will see you soon. I'm Fran Asaro. Take care.